Hello everyone, I'm Gabriel and this is the Rise Atlantis show. Today, the topic of the day will be about how strange it is that is a theory, but a very plausible theory, that they're trying to create underground tunnels to prepare for World War III. Now these tunnels are going to be all across America. For all we know, they could have them all around the world as well. But with America, they want to have them all spread out throughout America, different sections. Now, there's a problem with that. Because what if they create tunnels so much everywhere that it starts to weaken the land? It could make it cave in like a sinkhole. A lot of places in Florida starting to have sinkholes because they're surrounded all by water. I wonder if it would ever be completely underwater in the future, 50, 100, 500 years from now. So there's ideas of creating like a seawall. How high would you have to it for it to not be all the way completely completely like rise up over it? How high does it need to be? So that's what the topic of the day will be about today. About when I saw this story, I'm like, whoa, this is strange. This needs to be the topic of the day. Because it makes sense. I remember hearing Elon Musk of what's his company? Tesla and SpaceX. He started a new company called The Boring Company. The Boring Company. You know, he had it called that as a play on words to like say, oh, his company is really not that boring. Because what they want to do is create these tunnels. Now, he never said tunnels to where. What about the tunnels? He left it very vague. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that he's connected in with this. And if we start running tunnels all around America, it's not good. How many tunnels are we talking about here? What if they have like hundreds, thousands? What if they have millions of tunnels? It's going to weaken the land so much, it's going to be caving in everywhere. Now, there's a theory to make tunnels easier. It's like a vehicle with the drill on the front, and it spins, and as the drill's spinning, the vehicle just has to just drive. And that's all it is. It's just driving through, and it keeps tearing away through sediment. Now, it's kind of like Minecraft. What if they hit areas where it's too thick to keep going through? What if they fall down? This could happen. Hopefully it doesn't. What if they fall down through giant caves? And what if it goes for like 20 feet and deeper? Some of these caves could go to around 50, 100, 500 feet even. Can you imagine the size of a tower in a downtown city? Imagine that going straight down. And they can even go way further. So they need to find ways to prevent against that. I mean, they have some sonars and stuff that can pick up, like kind of like X-rays, pick up what's over through the rest. But the odds of it are very rare. You need very high-tech equipment. It could pick up some, but what if it doesn't pick up every detail? So not only that, what if they run into molten magma, like lava, the volcanoes and all? All kinds of things could happen if they start digging through these tunnels. The land could cave in as they're digging through, so crazy stuff indeed. That is the topic of the day. We have about 20 news stories, so we're just going to really run them through quick. Now, I forgot to do screenshots. I don't have time to do screenshots because it takes a while to do that. So I'm going to open up the post, and hopefully it doesn't happen like what happened yesterday. It was like closing pages that I didn't even close. Weird stuff. So, hopefully it doesn't do that today. Verse story. Check out the brain control film, which changes depending on how you are feeling. The film is called The Moment and has been created in Nottingham, England. Have you ever watched a film and wished the direction and it could change? It reminds me like those books called the Choose Your Own Story or Choose Your Own Ending Story. They have books, and they're a while back. Whereas you're reading the book, you could jump to certain chapters. It says, do you want to go here? Do you want to do this? And I like that. It's cool. It takes the book to like a virtual reality almost sequence. So now they're starting to do the same with movies. And I'm guessing it works like through changing chapters and stuff. You know? As you're changing chapters, I guess. You know, so that's weird. It's a brain control movie. Picks up reactions from the viewer via an electroencephalograph headset and switches the story depending on their response. So instead of pressing the remote through chapters, you just like say, and the voice, it picks it up and tries to make it easier. So that's cool. It's kind of like where virtual reality is going. Next story. I hate the phlegm. All day, every day. I'm not even sick. I think it's just allergies. I don't know what it is. The dust in the air. It gets very dusty here in El Paso. And I guess that's what brings on the phlegm. I don't know. This story, let's see. Canberra. I haven't heard of that. A Canberra man falls victim to a curse of Uluru. U-L-U-R-U. This is on Australia. Famous Ayers rock believed that he has fallen under its curse. Now this rock just looks like nothing great, basically. I got the cord on the microphone trapped under the cord to the phone that's charging. So I had to switch it out and do all this stuff here. Alright, where was I? So this just looks like a basic rock. You know, we see these landmarks everywhere throughout the world. This ain't no different. Let's see here. He said, while walking around the base of the rock, Uluru, Ayers Rock, he saw this rock and just had to have it. Now this was they call the rock the mountain, but he saw a small rock on the mountain. Said he had to have it. And he said Google Maps indicated the old campground was Azarian Chamberlain went missing. So he took a small rock as memorabilia. He started to suffer spats of unfortunate incidences that would lead him to believe the stories of a curse befalling anyone who disturbs the Lulu might actually be true. Now, I never really believed in curses and hexes, but from things I've seen, I'm willing to believe now, yes. There are stuff we cannot explain, and I feel that, you know, demons do have power to do certain things. I wish they didn't, but demons do have power to do certain things. So I believe in curses and hexes and voodoo spells and all that, you know. It is strange. So, this guy said that he kept having bad stuff happening to him. Now, it's kind of like the Egyptian, the mummies, you know, when they go in and explore the pyramids, they have curses, they say. Next story. You know, they always talk a lot of game, but they never back it up, man. They always talk the talk, but never walk the walk. I hope that I hope they really do this. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, said, "We must go back to the moon in this time to stay." That's good, you know. We need to get a moon base ASAP, and we need to have space travel, space tourism to the moon. Not just for rich people, but even poor people have it like a lottery. They win, you know. They get to, if they want to stay there their whole lives, or if they want to just visit, you know. And all that money that is poured into space tourism and traveling to the moon should go to pay poverty and programs for the poor here on Earth, you know. So we definitely need a Starbucks on the moon, you know. We need to establish bases, and we need to have like those bubble bases, you know, with like a clear dome and stuff. They've been, you know, they always talk about it for years and years. Hundreds of years. Let's see, hopefully this time they're serious. Because they always say, oh, money's the obstacle. How, when all these rich people are funding so many things? That's not the excuse. I think their excuse is they just don't want to spend full time on it because they're so busy with their other businesses. I think that's what it is. Well, what they need to do is hire people who can handle all that stuff full time. They're so rich, you know. They need to pay people to handle it all. Next story is the government building... Oh yeah, this is the topic of the day. They're building secret tunnels under America to prepare for World War III. Yeah, I think it's true, you know. And what Elon Musk said, he wants to start creating tunnels with this company, the Boring Company. I see a connection here. That guy was crazy. He was building and selling flamethrowers. Can you believe it? I think for only $50. Can you believe it? You could buy a flamethrower for $50. It was only a limited amount. And I believe he sold, was it 50,000, 100,000, something like that. Let's see here, loading. Comedian Michael Jr. explains his idea how dads can help protect students at school. About the gun violence. More security, he's saying. Not really saying much new. Let's see. Laptops that stream what's going on all the time. It's crazy. It seems technology can complicate things sometimes. Next story is American Idol star turns to God to win life-threatening battle. His name is Scott McIntyre. Experienced kidney failure, pain, uncertainty as he awaited two transplants. In 2009, he was first on the show. He was just 19 years old, American Idol. Got a phone call, changed his life. People donated to help him get the transplant. He says it's a success. And that thanks God, you know. When things go wrong, it's like, if it's not at fault of the doctors, it could just be freak accident. And that's so scary how all our lives are at the fate of life and death, you know. And what we think is secure for us one day might not be there the next. So definitely don't take for granted tomorrow, you know. Now, okay, yeah. I was confusing another story for this one. Atheist groups sue to... How am I on time? Good? Okay. Atheist groups sue to remove 10 Commandments monument from Arkansas State Capitol. We see this all the time, man. It ain't never going in. Flash floods ripped through Ellicott City, Maryland, for second time in nearly 2 years. This is bad stuff, man. Look how bad it is. Rushing waters down the streets. Look how high it is up to the doors. It's like clearly halfway into the door. Can you imagine water rushing in so fast that's half the size of a door? It's bad. Very bad indeed. This was a weird story. I mean, this takes a lot of courage. I mean, I could never do this. Let's just be honest. I could never do this. Spiderman hailed as a hero for rescuing child dangling from Paris balcony. Now this guy that they're calling him Spiderman, how high did he climb up? This is scary stuff. I don't think I could ever do it. A young Malayan migrant is being lauded in France after he scaled the outside of a building in Paris to rescue a young child dangling from a balcony. 22-year-old Mamuadua Gassama climbing up 4 floors, on a building. For some reason, a floor on a building is way higher than a floor on a house. Imagine climbing up to a 2-story house. That already is too high for me. Now, 2 more, if 4 stories high, yeah, you definitely could die falling off that. It's not that I have, so say, a fear of heights. It's my fear of dying, you know. I mean, I could be like on top of a bridge and I wouldn't feel scared, because I know I'm still on terra firma. Basically, I know the bridge is not going to collapse. I mean, a lot of bridges are collapsing, but those are like the very, very old ones. You know what I mean? The very old bridges are collapsing. But like when it comes to flying a plane, I never fly a plane, because I'm afraid of heights. When it's like stuff like that, you know, a plane can malfunction, you know. But like if it's like on a very secure bridge, I would not feel scared. Like when I drive over it all the time, you know. But this is different. Falling out the 4th floor, you could die. By the time Persian emergency services arrived at the building, the hero had already pulled the child to safety. So, you know, we need like safety. What do you call it when they fall off a building and still live? A trampoline or bouncer type thing. We need a parachute or something like that. Not parachute that you wear on your back, but like a parachute that's on the ground that when you fall you just land in. We need all those around buildings for safety, emergencies, you know. They should be like locked up in giant metal boxes outside of the buildings, and this should be a law that every building should have this. But I know they say they don't have the money and stuff for it, but it shouldn't cost that much to do. And they should have like safety things that they could pull out at any minute in case of any emergency. Imagine if they would have had those on 9/11. All the people that jumped out the building would have lived. So we need that now, because a fire could break out and they can't go to the next floor, and a fire could theoretically take down the building again. So if they can't get out through a door, through an elevator or stairs, they're trapped in a building that's on fire. So they have to jump out. That's why they need emergency things like this, like you see all the time in movies, and when they jump out and they land on it and stuff. That's what we need all the time, 24/7. That's always there at the buildings. When you think about how messed up this world is and things they could do better, you really start to see this world is very archaic. It's very primitive. We're still like cavemen compared to what we can become. We're still like cavemen compared to what we can become. So this is a snapshot of the video here. Now these people, why didn't they just bring the child up? Why did this guy have to go climbing if there's already these two people here? I don't know, it's kind of a weird story, right? Why would that guy have to climb all the way up if there's already two people there? That's weird. Okay, next story. Seems that story could be hype, I don't know. Like a hoax or something, I don't know, it's weird. If that guy climbed 4 stories when there's already two people there to begin with, that's absurd. Just doesn't make sense. Kanye clashes with Whitney Houston's family because Kanye's new album cover has Whitney Houston's bathroom that has all the medication on the sink. That ain't right. Whitney Houston was not to illegal drugs. She was doing pharmaceuticals. She wasn't abusing it. She was just see, when you get hooked on these pharmaceuticals, you can't stop, or else your body shuts down and stuff, and a lot of it's pain relievers and other stuff, so passenger gets unruly after demanding drinks. Can you believe it? He was demanding drinks, popping his fingers left and right, and he was fighting with the airplane staff. That's absurd. You need to kick that person off the airplane, man. Next story, Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick crashes out of 2018 Indy 500 in her final race. Now, I don't like how they're all with that GoDaddy and how it's always porn based, it's all immorality and stuff. And I don't like how GoDaddy and they put it on the Super Bowl commercials every year, and they always sell their souls to the devil for all this immorality. I mean, why do they have to stoop that low just for a quick buck? Okay. So, it really gets to me, how they just keep selling their souls for a quick buck. Next story here, why are all these websites saying reload? Tiger Woods would love PGA to allow golfers to wear shorts, because he says it gets very hot outside, and that it affects his performance. Makes sense. That's pretty funny. I mean, it gets hot out there, Imagine having to be all day in the sun wearing pants instead of shorts. It gets even hotter. I can't believe all these websites are saying reload. More than 228,000 pounds of spam and other meat products recalled. What's going on with the company Spam. Hormel, you know, they gotta fix themselves, if not they're going under, man. Spam. Email spam. Hormel needs to change their business strategy. Let's see here. This startup wants to help the planet with meatless burgers. Meat including wheat, potatoes, coconut oil. It's about time, you know. And I'm already hearing stories that McDonald's want to start selling meatless burgers. Like artificial meat, but it's not synthetic. It's made from natural things like soy and what was the one they said here? Potatoes. You know, a fake meat made with potatoes. I mean, yes, that's what we need. Instead of eating actual meat all the time. Because the meat isn't good to eat all the time. It messes our bodies up, you know. Sesame Street sues makers of raunchy puppet comedy The Happy Time Murders. And here's a... Whoa, I almost dropped my phone. Man, I hate it when that happens. I just got this phone, I don't want to break it. And this is the picture here. You know? I mean, the puppet they say looks like the Sesame Street one. I mean, it's very hard to say that they copyright a puppet like that, because, I mean, don't all puppets look the same? Well, just because of the big nose? I don't know. It's going to be hard for them to win that case. This was a weird story here. I'm telling you, phones are so fragile, man. I want to make, like, a case for it, right? And, like, hard outside and foam on the inside. That way, when it falls, the hard plastic can stop the friction, and the foam can stop the shock of it moving around. And for the front, have like a latch-on clear display that's durable also. That way, when we drop our phones, we won't have to worry about it breaking. And why is that after all this time no one's ever came out with something like that? It makes me angry. You know? Guess I have to try looking on Google again. I keep looking on Google to find a perfect case like that, and I never find it. World's largest freshwater pearl up for auction in the Netherlands. Now, when I first saw this, I thought it was a piece of chicken. Look at this. You're going to get a kick out of this right here. That's a piece of chicken, right? Are they serious? That is a pearl. The world's largest freshwater pearl up for auction in the Netherlands. This looks exactly like a chicken or a turkey. Look at the legs right here. The legs. Oh my god, this is funny. This is where the head should be. That's funny. When I saw that, I'm like, are you sure you're not confusing the story with a chicken? Or a turkey? I mean, come on. Next story is, what? Family finds Qing dynasty vase worth $600,000 in addict's shoebox. Now Qing is spelled Qing. Oh my god, man. Can you believe this vase is worth $600,000? You see, this is what's wrong with the world. When people are spending millions on junk like this, and while children and and poor people are suffering and starving to death all around the world, and here all these millionaires, billionaires, you know, throwing their money away on stupid stuff like this, it makes me angry. And if it makes us angry, just think how angry it makes God, man. God has had enough of all this greed. He is returning very soon, man, to bring in His new world order. The only new world order we should accept is God's new world order in heaven. This story's weird. A germ-free childhood could trigger leukemia, scientists suggest. Can you believe it? Now they say we can't live without germs, that there's good germs. But if you try to eliminate every single germ, even the good germs, it could cause leukemia, cancer. It's weird. Because it has to do with the blood, and if it doesn't get good germs, it messes up the biology. That's weird. FDA announces first U.S. gene therapy approval for cancer treatment. That's weird. I can't believe it. It sounds too good to be true, but it probably is. If you try to live without good germs, you could get leukemia? That's weird. Weird stuff indeed. Okay, and the last story. I'm almost certain I covered every story here. I mean, it's so hard to really try to make sure I get every story. I mean, it's a matrix. It really is. Okay, and the last one. Here we go. U.S. sails warship past disputed islands in South China Sea. So, the United States was sending their warships to the ocean, and China got very angry. Okay, so now the talk of the day. Now is when we mute the music. We mute the music. Now, I notice when I'm talking, sometimes it feels like, am I talking too low? Like right here, talking too low, talking normal, talking too calm, too low. Will you be able to hear me? So if I talk louder, I don't want it to sound like I'm yelling either. Like this probably right here is probably talking too loud. So this right here is talking too low. So it's hard to always try to keep it at that exact medium level, because sometimes I forget not to talk too low. Sometimes I forget not to talk too loud. So it's very hard, you know. It's practice makes perfect thing. To try to always remember the best audio level, you know. Because I noticed on some videos of other videos out there, some people's videos are like very, very low and you can't hear. And some people's videos are like way too loud, you know. So it's very hard to have it like perfect volume all the time, you know. Okay, let's see here. So this is very strange. Is the government building secret tunnels under America to prepare for World War III? What's going on with my phone? Look, it's glitching. Look, I moved down. I'm not sure you can see this. I moved and it jumps back up. Okay, now it's not doing it, but it was earlier. I think there it was. I don't know. It was glitching on me earlier. Now it fixed. I hate that. Okay. So are they building underground tunnels? I mean, I think so. You know, what Elon Musk said. Elon Musk said. It's very crazy. I've been drinking this Canada Dry. It really helps. Better than diet soda because it's not good. All the artificial sweeteners. And this is really good because it helps me burp, you know, time to time. I am so dehydrated. I hate being dehydrated. I'm in the sun all day, every day, non-stop. And I really feel I might die of a hot car death one of these days. 'Cause when I work, it's just in the sun, in the heat, non-stop. You know. And I drink all the water, have the window rolled down. I get cool air while I drive, but I still feel it's not enough, you know. And it's like, I hate the heat, man. The summers are too hot, the winters are too cold. The weather, the temperature is never perfect, man. You know, and it gets to me. Mysterious booms and lights have been reported all over the country and have recently sparked fears that the United States government is building tunnels underground in preparation for potential nuclear third war. And I agree, you know, America should take measures to help protect not just themselves, but us all as well. They need to be creating more bomb shelters, man. And they need to have bomb shelters to fit everyone. I'm telling you, everyone. Even animals. Just the main ones, you know. And the government should work to try to make... this should be a pledge that I feel Trump should do. Is to guarantee a spot for every American in a bomb shelter in case we ever go into World War III nuclear conflagration. You know, so Trump needs to say this in a speech that every American should be guaranteed a right to a nuclear fallout shelter, you know. I know it sounds funny, but it's probably what we really do need. Because nuclear attack can happen on any city. So every city should have nuclear bunkers, so many to spare, you know, that could fit everyone, you know. So, yeah, start with the tunnels, but go further. Give us all a guaranteed fallout shelter. If, God forbid, we ever enter a World War III nuclear war, you know. Nuclear bombs flying left and right. They send nukes here, we send nukes there, back and forth, till before you know it, the whole world is blown up. So, if Jesus doesn't return before that, we're going to have to ride out a nuclear third war. So, I feel we need protective measures, like guaranteed fallout shelters for everyone. That's not just a start, but that's the goal. That should be the goal. And this right here is the start. The tunnels. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. This shouldn't be allowed. And I was thinking about, I'm like, well, what if it can be to where it helps the military, in return helps us all as well. So I am in favor of this, of America, the military, building tunnels all around America. I am in favor of it. What is a concern, though, is could it weaken the land and could stuff start caving in? Because if that happens, that could become a problem. You know? We want to have these tunnels for safety. Because imagine this. I thought of this. What if a nuclear bomb explodes in a city? The people in the fallout shelters, instead of them having to wait months and months and months, they're having to wait it out for the nuclear radiation to settle and clear away. They could just enter these tunnels and they could all be transported to another city. So this is awesome. This is a good idea here. But at the same time, I am concerned because they start building these tunnels left and right. It could weaken the ground and it could start caving in. You could be seeing more sinkholes happening. You could be seeing states just collapsing inward. Now, I know it sounds hard to believe, a whole state collapsing in from one small tunnel. But this is mainly more parts of the city that'll collapse in. If they start running tunnels in every city, yeah, you could have more places in the cities collapsing in from these tunnels. So, you know, technology has its good sides and bad sides. You know. So I am in favor of these tunnels. But it needs to be done right. You see, because how deep does a tunnel have to be for the land to start caving in? How deep does it have to be? Sometimes deeper is actually worse. Now this right here shows a picture of, look how huge this tunnel is. It shows like a little cart here or something like that can drive through also. So imagine if a nuclear bomb were to explode in a city and everyone in the fallout shelters can hitch a ride on these tunnels to the neighboring cities nearby. Now that's crazy, because you'd have to send that tunnel miles and miles and miles to another city, all across the empty desert road. It's crazy stuff, man. But you know, do we really need this? I think we do, and it's crazy. Because how will we have the money to pay for all this? The way I see it, money should not be a concern. The government should just print the money and send it to the people that need it, that are building this, making it happen. You know, they print money out of thin air. They just it's like an invisible thing. They make it appear, and they're like, boom, they got it, and they throw it to people. Now, what happens when they keep doing that? Millions and millions, billions, trillions of it. It causes inflation. That's why stuff gets more expensive. Not just by inheritances, and when people get an inheritance, when someone passes away, they want to come in and regulate that, and that's why they make housing more expensive over and over, to try to adjust from inheritance. They want to try to take that inheritance away. You know, most of the time we think, oh, when we get an inheritance that we're going to be so rich. But a lot of times the government just wants to keep regulating it, you know, and they want to go after their inheritances, everyone's inheritances. And how do they do it? Is through inflation. Now, I kind of agree with it, because without it, then without it, then people would become, how should I say, not just too powerful, but too rich too quick. Not really like that, but like it would get crazy, you know. It would really get crazy. But at the same time, I don't believe they should be taking so much away. A little bit, you know, to pay taxes and whatever it be. You know, the way I see it is, when they cause inflation on stuff to regulate, like inheritances, for example, it should just be a very small percentage, because people need to rise at the same time and not being held down for so long. So I agree, regulate it just a little bit, but not too much. So wow, I had never thought of this. If World War III happens and we're all in the nuclear fallout shelters, we can't stay there for months and months and months with food going bad and no oxygen. And the nuclear fallout shelters should just be seen as temporary solutions. So I never thought about this until I just thought about it right now. Like, whoa. These fallout shelters are just temporary. They're in there for maybe a few days only, and they're being shipped out to the neighboring cities, even if it's miles and miles and miles, you know, through the open desert, underground, you know. It seems hard to do. One, is going to take long, very long. Two, it's going to take a lot of money, But it is a cool futuristic idea. I think that's what we need, to not just to feel safe, but actually be safe. Because we can live months and months. Imagine living like 5-6 months in a fallout shelter and just waiting there for the radiation in the sky to clear out. We can't wait that long. Food will go bad, run out of oxygen. People will be fighting with each other in the fallout shelters, People will go crazy. They'll go mad, So they get to be shipped out to neighboring cities. That's a pretty cool idea. So I am on board with them doing this. 100%, only under one condition. They need to make sure it's safe, because we can't have the land caving in, collapsing in everywhere from these tunnels. So it's very tricky. How do you do it when it's done right? Now, when they do piping for water and all that, that's very different. The pipes are very small. You don't have to worry about land caving in. But when they're very huge like this, when they're 6 feet to around, most likely it's going to be over 6 feet, because for the people that are like 7, 8 foot, they're going to have it around 10, 15 feet. They might even have it 20 feet, top to bottom, and side to side. It's very huge. Now, that empty tunnel right there could pose the risk of the ground caving in, weakening, collapsing in. So I am 100% in favor and on board of the government creating these secret tunnels under America to prepare for World War III. Only under one condition. If it is done right, if the ground will not cave in, and how will we be able to do 100% safe without it collapsing in? What if it's always a risk that it could happen? So it's crazy. The only way, I guess, is to have these tunnels go away from land and building. I guess have it start from an open land and keep it open. Don't build stuff on top of it. That's probably the way it needs to go, So we'll go ahead and end the topic of the day out there, and we'll do the EVPs now. EVP stands for Electronic Voice Phenomenon. We pick up the ghost to the apps on the cell phones. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Let's see here. Seems I get more tired and more tired as the days go by. Alright, let's see here. Okay, here we go. Lord Jesus, Lord God, please let you or your angels speak through the apps on these cell phones at this moment, Lord. Hallelujah. Please reveal powerful prophecy predictions at this moment. I beg of you, in your name, Lord Jesus, Lord God, I pray. Hallelujah. Here we go. Now let's enter the matrix.
Activates the button to start a new recording session.
Activates the button to start a new recording session.
I hate having to mute all this stuff.
Editorially. Mumbo. Activates the button to start a new recording session.
Come on, I thought I muted it, man. Now the phones need to be muted because it reads back. It says back audio what it reads it out there, and if it hears the audio, it'll trick it to make it think it's repeating itself. So that's why you need to have the phones muted. Now this phone got the words Buster, Austral, meant like it meant to say astral, like space, attempting and consenting. So astral, space, I don't know what this means in a sentence. Buster, Austral, attempting, consenting. I don't know what that means. This phone got the words squirting, February, lock, LAC, and then Manebach, MANEBACH, I miss you, entering and thickening. I don't know what this means in a sentence. Now February 9th is my birthday, so that's weird. Alright, let's go ahead and do 4 more and we'll call it a night. Here we go. Okay, so many words. Let's see here. Ah, man, I'm tired. I hate being tired, man. I wish I could never be tired again. In heaven, we'll never be tired again. Let's see here. This phone got the words. Democratic gated. Compared, raising, emulating. Now emulating means to like copy I hate this microphone, almost fell. Emulating means like to copy of doing something. And process. So democratic gated. Now when it's a democratic, I never choose political sides here. Democratic gated compared raising emulated process. I don't know what it means. Let's see here. Cancrinite speculate churning shape Inca plover advertiser. Democratic gated compared raising. Okay, I mean, I don't know. What is this one saying? Cancrinite speculate churning shape Inca plover advertiser. Advertising the Incas? What? Churchy. I don't know. This thing, why is it? Everything's like so cluttered here, you know? I hate it. We'll go and do 2 more. We'll call it a night. I hate being tired, man. Oh man, okay, here we go. One thing I've noticed when you press your fingers against your eyes like that, like to relieve pressure and pain, and not just pain, but pressure. Like sometimes when you wake up or go to sleep or do this, I notice not to do it too much and with too much pressure, because it could make you go blind. You start to weaken the strands in your eyes all the time. I didn't know that. You know, so this is advice I can give you all. This one got the words bucker, dealing, gambrel, door, acaroid. I've heard acaroid only one other time, and it meant like to sound like it's saying asteroid. Acaroid, asteroid. Bucker, dealing, gambrel. Now it sounds like gamble. Gamble and dealing. Door. Maybe the asteroid's coming because God is tired of all the gambling and dealing. And everyone's headed for the door, man. Jesus returning. That's a funny one right there. That's the funny EVP of the night. Okay, and this last one got the words phosphine, basora, sized, moist, iris, madam, representation, hellhound. It's hard to make sense with all this. Phosphine is a chemical. Basora, size of a chemical is moist. Iris means eyes. Look, that's weird. Iris, eyes. No, this weird. Okay, madam means a woman. Madam is representing hellhounds. Who is that? I don't know, man. See, what I'm going to do is with all these EVPs that I've recorded since the beginning of my very first video, I'm going to study these EVPs and I'm going to do updates on them to see if I find anything new about it. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to not just get the best of EVPs, but also try to decipher and code all these, because it's a lot of it that's like Latin here, you know, a lot of gibberish. What's it called? It's like it's like speaking in tongues, you know. There's another word for it. I forgot what it's called. Should I think? But yeah, I can't think of that other word. What is it? It's like gibberish. Like speaking in tongues. It was something else. I forgot. Well. Hopefully the EVPs get better than this. Like I've seen powerful EVPs before. So we'll go ahead and end it there. Please like, share, subscribe. Please tell everyone you know to like, share, and subscribe. Also, I'm going to start posting my Patreon links to start receiving donations, and a PayPal link for one-time donations. So the Patreon's monthly donations, and a PayPal's one-time donation. So working to get that going up very soon. Hopefully I can start, you know, getting a lot of donations and doing good things with this money, you know. Doing good things. Guerrilla marketing. I plan to go on a tour here, you know, along with my music also, you know. I like to summon apparitions state to state. The 50 State Summoning Tour. I hope I can get this going soon. It's not easy. Hopefully it happens. So we'll go ahead and end it there. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please tell everyone you know to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. God bless. Good night.